Hello fellow Hunters of the Blue and welcome to my channel, and also welcome to another amazing painting tutorial. And in this video I tackle something that got requested a lot in my previous Necron blade tutorial. So in this video I will show you how to paint an orange Necron blade from the Mephrit Dynasty. But this of course can also be used for any power weapon. I think this will look really cool for Salamander Space Marines too. So guys, let's get cracking. So as you can see, we're starting from a base coat of a 50-50 mix of Glazes Yellow and Fire Dragon Bright, and this was 3 layers over Corax White spray, very thin layers, and you get a perfect good coverage. And I'm going to start with a glaze of Fire Dragon Bright, and again, as is usual with power weapons, I'm going to do an MMM pattern, so I'm going to do dark, light, dark, and the opposite in this plane, I will be doing bright, dark, bright. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to do a glaze of Fire Dragon Bright. You can check how thin the Fire Dragon Bright is there. You can see it's very thin. And I'm just going to do a glaze. Remember, when doing glazes, how you move your brush is very important. So you want to start from the lighter part, and then when you want the color to be most intense, don't worry about those ridges, those lines that are in the blade. Those are not important for now. Also here on the orb, I'm going to start applying this towards the bottom of the orb. Same with the cable, I'm just going to apply this towards the extremes of the cable. Once the first pass is dry, like here, I will apply a second one. And we want to apply passes of this until we reach a full opacity of Fire Dragon Bright. Always remember, you have to move your brush in the correct direction if you want a smooth blend. It's very important you wait until the glazes are fully dry before you apply the next one. I have reached full opacity with Fire Dragon Bright, and I'm very happy with the transitions, but I still want them to be even better, so I'm going back to my base coat. This is 50-50 mix of Fire Dragon Bright and Glazes Yellow, and I'm going to turn it again into a glaze. You can see it there, and I'm going to apply this in the opposite direction, like that. So starting from the parts with Fire Dragon Bright and moving into our base coats. I won't do much with this, it's just a little bit of refinement until I'm happy with the transition, so maybe I will do another layer, but not very much. As I said, I'm very happy with the transition as it is right now. I have all my transitions smoothed out, and now I'm going to move into Trolls Layer Orange. Trolls Layer Orange is a very transparent color, and I don't use it a lot, but it's really good for glazing because it's so transparent. You can see how I have it thin down there, and I'm going to apply this into the darker parts, again moving from the lighter sections into the darker ones. I want to build this up into the middle here. Like that, and again in the cable towards the parts where the cable joins into the body of the weapon, and here a little bit at the bottom of the orb, just like that. The glaze is already dry up there, so I'm going to do a second layer. If you're doing your glazes right, should be really quick process because it dries really fast. I'm now happy with how my Trolls Layer Orange glaze looks, and I'm going to highlight it a bit just to get a feel of the contrast. And for this I'm going to use Flaskets Yellow, and I will apply this as a glaze. Well, more like a heavy glaze. I want quite a bit of this color there. Towards the lighter sections of the blade. Not much, just a tiny bit. So here's the lighter part. A tiny bit here in the center and a tiny bit here in the center of the orb. Once the first glaze dries, as always, I will apply more. For example, there, here. Our highlight with Flaskets Yellow is now done, and I'm really happy with how this is looking. I'm going to move into my darker shade. This will be Wild Rather Red, and I will do a couple of things with Wild Rather Red. First of all, I will drop this into all the recesses of the blade. Be very careful, not like I was there. Oh. Don't forget to also put this in the recesses in the cable, where it meets the body and where the orb also meets the body here. And with that recess shade done, I'm going to take a glaze of Wild Rather Red. Something like that. Maybe a tiny bit more. Yes. Oh yes, that's much better. I'm going to take that glaze and I'm going to place it in the darker parts of a blade. My shading with Wild Rather Red is now done. Now I'm going to take Flaskets Yellow. This is pure Flaskets Yellow now. And I'm going to do an edge highlight all over the blade. You need to pick up absolutely every line and border, even these ones here in the middle. This will probably require a couple of passes, but don't be too concerned about it, because our next edge highlight will probably cover most of it, so if it's not covering perfectly well, it's not a big problem. So I just finished edge highlighting on my blade with Flaskets Yellow, and I'm going to move into the next highlight. This is Dawn Yellow, and I'm thinning my Dawn Yellow into a glaze consistency again, but instead of using water, I'm using Lamian Medium. That is because Dawn Yellow has a lot of white in it, and Lamian Medium helps a lot with those kind of colors. This is the consistency I'm using, and I will apply it very carefully towards the lighter parts of this blade. So the extremes here and the middle right here. Build this very slowly with tone yellow and with such light colors. Glazing, it's better to do it very slowly. I'm also going to apply a highlight here in the middle of the orb and here in the middle of the cable. Once the first glaze is dry, which it is now, I'm going for a second one. Again, apply very little paint, move your brush from the darker into the lighter areas, and be very careful. Our edge highlight with tone yellow is now finished, and I want to add a bit more saturation to the lighter sections, and for this I'm going to take Flaskit Yellow and I'm going to thin it down to a very thin glaze consistency, and this time I'm not looking to place it in one particular part, I'm just going to do a very thin filter. So what you want is to just cover everything with a very thin layer of this color. Don't let it pull anywhere, don't let it go and concentrate in any particular place. Just filter everything with this color. We're almost done now, and for the last step I'm going to take pure white, and again I'm thinning it down to a glaze consistency using Lamy medium, and I'm going to apply this as a highlight here in the most important, in the brighter sections. Again, I'm building this very slowly. You see how thin it is. It's almost non-existent, but we really want this to be very smooth. My first glaze is already dry, and I'm going to do a second one. Keep building this white highlight until you are happy with it. And on top of that, I will also do an edge highlight with white. On the brighter sections, this will be a full edge highlight. I will pick up everything, for example here and here. But on the darker parts like here, I will just do a very small, almost a dot, here and there. I know in the last step I told you that was going to be the last, but the truth is that was yesterday, and when I left this for the night and came back in the morning, I wasn't really happy. You can see I even started painting all the surrounding details just to see if I was happy with it, but I think it needs a bit more contrast, so I'm going to add a bit more shading. In this case it will be a glaze using Flestirus Red. You can see how thin I'm going to apply this. Really thin, and I'm going to apply this in the shadow areas. Of course this would be much easier if I hadn't all my edge highlights done yet. So if you are following this guide, before doing the edge highlight, do this glaze. So right after you do the Wild Rather Red glazing, do this glaze, and you should be alright. I will keep building this up until I'm happy with it. This will of course also go into the rest of the details, like here in this cable. So with everything looking neat, I took the liberty to finish off all the shrouding details so you can see the whole effect, and now I am really happy with it, and I also hope you are happy with it too. So guys, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye! Do you like my videos and want to help me make them? Well, there are several ways you can do that. You can follow me on social media, you have the links to all my social media in the description below. You can also check all my affiliate links in the pinned comment of this video. Use those links in your next hobby purchase and help me without any additional cost to you. But most importantly, there is Patreon and channel members. You have the link to my Patreon in the description below, and you have a button to join my YouTube members just below this video. Patreon and channel members help me do all the cool projects that I want to make and help me improve the quality of my videos. Don't be afraid, no content will ever be hidden behind a paywall, but it's a nice way to help me and you will get something back for generosity. Also, I now have merch. If you want to look really cool, just check my merch just below this video or in the shop tab of my channel. As I said guys, thank you very much for watching, and a special thank you to Ben Morin, Gerald Moore, Kieran O'Murthail, Victor Domen, Michael Boye, Charles Armitage, Christoph Moret, Joshua Bohannon, Ryan Mann, Bell Drain, Kevin Sulas, Leonard Lindemann, Jonathan Ekelund, Dr. B, G-Force, Eldrick, Sasha Park, Katie Butler, Manuel Vilela, Joe Simpson, Dominic Trevizo, Richard Kierkowski, Sheeny, Mark Jarvis, Gareth Smith, Bill Caswar, Matteo De Rienzo, Andrew Palka, Patrick Getzitsis, and Arundel for being the coolest persons in the planet. Be like these fine folks, join my Patreon and take control.